It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Thursday, December 14th. I love a Thursday because we come up on two amazing TV shows on Wednesday night, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills and Real Housewives of Miami. And you guys, the TV shows are just giving right now. They are giving. We are in the heyday of Bravo TV. Not to mention Girls Trip premieres tonight. Girls Trip Legacy, which we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about traders. We're going to talk about so many other things. And of course, we're going to talk about the shows that we both and all, we both, just you and I, just you and me, watched last night. And can't wait to get into it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for subscribing if you're here on YouTube. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify, don't forget to hit follow. And then while you're there, just give me a 5-star review and a rating. Like, why not? It's the last day of Hanukkah. Give me a Hanukkah gift. Give me a Christmas gift. Let's do this, you guys. I would love to shout out today's first sponsor of Daily Dose of Donna. It is Babbel. Babbel.com. This fall, you can start speaking a new language with Babbel. And why Babbel? Because it works. Instead of paying hundreds of dollars for a private tutor or fooling yourself with language apps that are a little more than games, Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons are designed by over 150 language experts to help you start speaking a new language in as little as 3 weeks. You don't even know what can change in 3 weeks, you guys. 3 weeks is like the difference between now and 2025. 4. 2024. I'm already my brain is already in 2024. So I thought next year was 2025. I'll fix that. It's always good to learn a new language. Are you guys planning on traveling to Europe next year? Are you planning to go to Mexico? Are you planning on going to, Asia? Anywhere? This is the time. This is the time. This is how you have to start learning real life conversation skills, because it's so easy to pick up on how to order food, ask for directions, speak to merchants without having to go into your language apps or go to Google Translate. It's really a bomb.com way to learn a new language. So here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for Daily Dose of Donna listeners at babbel.com/bowling. That's 55% off at babbel.com/bowling, spelled BABBEL.com/bowling. Rules and restrictions may apply. So thank you, Babbel. All righty, let's get into one story, or just let's just chat. Let's just chat for a second, you guys. Let's just chat. We are there's a lot of discourse in my Facebook group that I woke up to, you guys. Lots going on over there. So if you haven't joined the Daily Dose of Donna Facebook group, you may want to do that. I'm going to address it on today's Patreon episode. Yes, I will record a Patreon episode today with a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And the reason why I need to address it is because I think it's very niche. It's very niche content. It's very if you know content about other creators, podcasters, things that are said about this, rumors that are said about this. So we're going to get into that on my Patreon episode later today. Because I got a lot of DMs about if I was the one that was being spoken about on another very popular Bravo podcast over the weekend. The answer is yes. But I have a whole update from that. We're going to talk about, a lot of behind the scenes stuff, plus some other things that are just going on that are just, I can go deeper. And I don't want to say harder because then it just isn't obvious that's what she said, but it will be fun. It will be fun. So this is going to be, let's see. Oh yeah, tomorrow on December 15th is our final happy hour on Patreon for the year. So just make sure that if you are part of the Patreon community, that you subscribe to the overdose section, tier, and then you'll get the link tomorrow. It will be on Zoom. It's going to be an hour. We're going to go over the week's gossip. We're going to go over all kinds of things. We're going to get to know each other. And I love just seeing your faces. It'll be fun. So make sure to do that. All righty. Let's get into our first story. Yeah. let's talk really fast about the Traders. So the Traders, I told you all that I used to watch I watched the Trader season 1 just a few months ago, like way late. You guys told me to watch it. And I had never, ever watched it before because I don't know. I'm not, to be 100% honest, I used to not really be into a lot of these kind of competition reality shows. Like I like watching the reality shows that feel like they're telling a story. And I've always had a thing for Big Brother. I do have a thing for Big Brother. And I do sort of um like the Amazing Races and stuff, but I never stick with it. But Traders was great because what it did was it pulled from people like shows that I love to watch, right? All the reality shows that I love to watch. And it kind of connected it to a real competition show. And this next season 2, which just released its trailer, it premieres January 12th, is like really the best of both worlds because I don't think they have any normies on the show anymore for season 2. You remember season 1, they had half reality stars from like Big Brother, Survivor, Bravo, etc., and then half just like normal competition people, just like people like you and I. This next season is um all celebrities, all reality TV celebrities. So there's people from Big Brother, there's people from MTV like The Challenge and Real World, etc. There's people from Survivor, there's people from The Bachelor, and then of course there's our Bravo peeps. So exciting. The trailer is out. Like I said, you have to go check it out. Who did we spot in the trailer? Tamra from OC, MJ from Shaws of Sunset, of course, Larsa and her boyfriend Marcus from Real Housewives of Miami because they don't go anywhere without each other. Phaedra from now I guess Married to Med. Janelle from the I think she was on 3 seasons, maybe 2 seasons of Big Brother. I'm such a Janelle stan. Like Janelle is the best Big Brother player I think ever. Rochelle, because that's what every name has to end with an L. Trishelle from Real World and The Challenge, but she was like the famous Real World Las Vegas. Remember that? Do you guys remember that Real World Las Vegas when they had their first season in Vegas and it was at the Palms Casino and Hotel and they like worked with the Maloofs? It was a little bit of a Bravo crossover for that reason. And then they all made out with Steven and Trishelle and the other girl, like the really cute, maybe Brianna or something. I can't remember her name. And they all just like hooked up in the hot tub in the room. And then remember Frank? Frank was there and he was kind of like awkward and had a crush on everyone. I think he had a crush on Trishelle. I can't remember anyone else that was on the show, but it was crazy. I remember let's see. Hey Siri, when did Real World Las Vegas premiere? I want to know how old I was. 2002. So the first Las Vegas was 2002. So I was 21. I was 21. It was perfect timing. But I remember being very like thrown by the threesomes and the jacuzzis of it. I'm sorry. I don't personally think a hot tub should be anywhere near like living spaces. It should be in a bathroom, like in a very separate area. All those real world houses have like hot tubs smack in the middle of the living rooms. I think they had that on Seattle or not Seattle, maybe. They had it on another one just kind of recently, like maybe New Orleans. I don't remember which one they had, but it's pretty, that's lots of water. There's water damage. I mean, when my kid spills like a little water, I'm like, go clean it up. We have wood floors. So we'll have to see. And then the ultimate, the man, like the man's man that I always thought was so cute and so hot. CT. Now, did you guys have a thing for CT? That's Chris Tamburello. CT from Real World. And then he was on every single challenge, I think. CT, formerly CT and DM. Remember DM from the Real World from the challenges? And she so sadly passed away from I think it was ovarian cancer or something awful like that in her early 20s. Y'all. Okay, CT. Let me tell you, CT walked or CT ran. What is the saying? So that Craig could walk? No, CT walked so that Craig could run. Now, if I were to ask Lance right now, Lance, let's put CT in one, like right here, and then let's put Craig here. Lance would be like, how are you into Craig? Because like CT's a man. And Lance thinks Craig is like, he likes to sew. He's kind of metro. I think they're both adorable. Very different. One is like the bad boy, and one is like the sweet guy that wants to talk about your feelings. Love it. So CT's on that show. Can't wait to watch it, you guys. It's going to be so good. All right. Before we get into the Kim and Kroy of it all, because this is devastating, absolutely devastating, this story. Let's talk really fast about my second and last sponsor today of today's show. It is the Blue Mean Face Pro Plus. I know that if you guys are here on YouTube and you watch a lot of these shows, you've seen this before, but nothing beats a daily dose of Donna. Blue Mean Face Pro Plus. Why do we buy the Face Pro? Because, listen to this. We love a vibration on this show. You guys, they have 3 settings, and you start to kind of pull it up your face. That's what she said. So you guys, I use 2 things on my face as tools. One being this. This is more like the daytime while I'm watching a show. And then at night, I use a gua sha tool. So I don't know if you guys know about a gua sha. That's like, I'll show it to you guys another day if you want, but it's like one of those rose quartz, like it's just like a flat stone, and you kind of like, you pull it across your face. There's all these tools, and I've been watching our YouTube videos. It like shows exactly how to do it. Because one time, a long time ago, I got one of those, it's called what is it called? Like a lymphatic massage. I got a lymphatic massage right after I had COVID at this place here in LA called Detox. And what they do is they massage you, and it's almost painful, right? It's almost painful because they really push it all out of you. And this is kind of what this is doing, because what's happening, and it's not painful at all, but what it's doing is basically massaging and creating an additional circulation in your skin. It's pushing all these like bloated fluids and inflammation kind of across your face. It also helps with product penetration, which we love on Daily Dose. We love talking about penetration. And then also it helps with tightening pores. It helps with the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles. It helps with depuffing your double chin. It's all these things. Like, we are getting older, all of us, not you, just me. Actually, I'm just getting older. And I've decided, I'll talk more about this, but I've decided to cut back on a lot of bad behaviors that I've been, bringing into my life lately. Next week, I'm going to get more into that. And so all of it includes having really, really good skin. And that's important to me because I want to look good, because I live in LA. And I am, what's it called when you're like obsessed with how you look? I don't know, whatever that's called. I care about how I look. I want to look good. My mom has the best skin for being 75, and I want to also look good. So I have an offer for you guys, $70 off for the first 100 people that use this code. It's normally $150, but with the link in my description, it's already there, but I'll give it to you right now. You're going to get $70 off. Plus, you're going to get a free ebook for only the first 100 people. If you have no results, you don't need to pay. So just make sure that you purchase it, because it will sell out and you will be able to get it for the holidays. Use the code BLUMENE, that's BLUMENE.com/daily dose Donna. Again, BLUMENE.com/daily dose Donna. All right, you guys, we're done with the ads. I know all of you guys are like, come on, let's get over the ads. Well, I'll tell you something really fast, okay? I'll tell you something really fast. Mama over here needs to make some money. That's how these YouTube and podcasters work. Do you guys know that? We do this to entertain you, but also it's a career. This has become my career. Yes, I do still coach multiple people on how to start their podcast. I have 3 clients that just signed with me for next month. But this is my love. I love to entertain, and I love to do Daily Dose of Donna. So the Real Housewives of Ultimate Girls Trip premieres tonight. Now, this is interesting because Ramona Singer. Now, we remember right before Vain is the word. Thank you. The dosers come through. Okay. We remember that right before BravoCon, which was November 3rd through 5th this year. So, like, I want to say it was probably November 1st or like Halloween. It was right there. It came out that Ramona, well, that big Vanity Fair expose that was supposed to, like, build Bethany up and didn't really do much except take Ramona Singer down, because Ebony spoke about things that people kind of already knew, but she rehashed this conversation that Ramona had used racial slurs in the past. Now, I think Bravo was aware of that and Bravo already knew about it. But what happened was that because Ramona had, well, I think what happened, oh yeah, Page Six released an article covering the Vanity Fair expose. And Ramona Singer, who, I hate to say it, you guys, I love her on TV. Don't love her as a person, wouldn't want to be her best friend, but I love her on TV. She has a syndrome, I think, that a lot of us have. Actually, a lot of housewives have, because we've seen it before. It's called foot and mouth syndrome. No, it's not called hand, foot, mouth disease that a lot of your kids get. It's called foot and mouth syndrome. It's FIM. We call it FIM. FIMS. She has FIMS. Ramona, allegedly. Okay, allegedly. And I heard there's a cream for that. But Ramona Singer has a foot and mouth syndrome. And what that means is that she does not think before she speaks. It doesn't necessarily bode well for her, because thinking things and then saying them out loud or typing them out loud or typing them out loud, typing them in real life, this is where we get a little bit tricky, right? So instead of just letting sleeping dogs lie, because what was done and Bravo had already dealt with that, she decided to then go after the Page Six the article, the writer, and she said, I didn't use that word in that way. I used this word in this way, like whatever. And I don't want to get into details, but essentially she didn't write out the entire word, but she wrote that she had said the word and spelled out half of it. So she confirmed that she had used the word. It just was bad. It was bad news bears. It was right before BravoCon. It was during the height of this like reality reckoning, which I think we've already kind of gone down already. I think the climax has passed. Tell me if I'm wrong. Like, we've peaked and now we're down the reality reckoning train. But anyway, she got disinvited to BravoCon. However, last night there was a premiere and she was invited and she did go. She did go. And Brandy Glanville. Do you see my face? Brandy Glanville, who, honestly, if we're going to be talking about morals, etiquette, right, wrong, I don't think I would go to Brandy Glanville. Just saying. Just saying. I don't think I would go to Brandy Glanville for like to find out, like, as a moral police. Like, if I was trying to decide something really big, important for my life and like how I was going to go through my life, I don't think Brandy would be the one I'd go to. Many other housewives, I think, would give great advice. I do. I actually do. Not Brandy. Okay. So Brandy did, of course, speak about this. She called out Bravo and Peacock for being hypocritical for allowing Ramona Singer to attend the Legacy premiere. She says, just saying. It says, after Singer, this is on Page Six, after Singer showed up to the event Tuesday night, despite her recent use of a partial racial slur, Glanville argued that she should be able to attend the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 5 premiere following her own scandal with Carolyn Manzo. Now, remember, Season 5 is the one that we will probably never see. It got shelved because Brandy and Carolyn were there and there was an alleged drunken, like, uh, sexual advance from Brandy to Carolyn. No one really knows. No one's really talking about it. So we don't know. She goes, oh, good. So that means I'll get an invite to our premiere party. Can't wait, at Peacock at Bravo TV. She wrote on her Instagram story over a screenshot of Singer taking photos on the Legacy red carpet. Then she reposted a still of Sonia asking Kristen Takeman on the show, are you as horny as I am? And she said, just saying. Okay. It's giving jealous. Listen, I have to say, it's very tricky with Ramona Singer because this is a very obviously a super polarizing person. I can't help what my gut tells me about certain people. And like I said, I don't think Ramona Singer is the person that I'd want to maybe be friends with at all. But I've seen a lot of redeeming qualities over the years. I see her as a mother. I see her as a, I've seen her be a good friend. I've seen a lot of stuff. Um, she's also insanely entertaining to watch on TV. And we've talked about this so many times, right? Like, would you want to be best friends with a lot of these housewives? Maybe, maybe not. Like Monica Garcia from Salt Lake City is someone that I would stay so far away from. I wouldn't want to be in any capacity. Like, I wouldn't want to do business. I wouldn't want to be friends with her. I wouldn't want to tell her secrets. I wouldn't want any of that. But it's great freaking TV. So I think there's a way to separate the two. And if you're not able to separate the two, then unfortunately, it's going to be really hard to like any reality TV because I think so many of them have really, really appalling characteristics in addition to redeeming, right? There's a few housewives on every franchise that are just like, they seem purely perfect. Not perfect, but like they're not offensive. They're not, whatever. But you're going to still find things wrong with all of them. The goal here is just to kind of realize that we're watching TV. And I know it's reality TV, so everyone gets a little confused. But I have a whole other story about, reality versus not. I'll talk about it on my Patreon about an upcoming show, some behind the scenes stuff. Okay. So I'm okay with Ramona being on Ultimate Girls Trip. I'm glad they didn't edit her out. I'm glad they didn't shelve it. And you know what? This woman has been in the Bravo world for so many years. There's no way she was invited to that premiere if she didn't have a legitimate reason to be there, and if she didn't have anything redeeming in her case, right? Brandy is a different case because Brandy brings nothing but drama. And I'm going to be honest, I just don't see so many redeeming qualities for Brandy. Not for me. Tell me if I'm wrong. The slap, the allegations, it's like, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much. Okay. Let's move on, you guys. Kim and Kroy. We have to talk about Kim and Kroy before we get into last night's TV. I am not joking you when I'm telling you this. I lost sleep over this. It's bad. It's bad when I have lost sleep over two reality stars that I don't even care about. Like, I've talked about this before on the show. I'm like, I'm not talking about Kim and Kroy ever again unless something huge happens. Well, something huge has happened. And this happened a few weeks ago, but it was just finally released last night or yesterday on TMZ. TMZ finally released the body cam footage from the police officers who basically saw who came to Kim and Kroy's house when their kid, we don't know which kid, called the what's it called? Called the police for their fight. Okay. This video, which I posted like a little clip of someone else posting about it on my stories yesterday, but you have to go and find it on your own. It's on TMZ. It's everywhere actually now. Daily Mail, etc. But basically, this article via Daily Mail says a disturbing verbal fight between Kim Zolciak and her estranged husband, Kroy Biermann, is now coming into focus with the release of police body cam footage. It was from November, so it was a couple weeks ago, like I said, and it really shows Biermann, that's Kroy, screaming at Kim. And when officers came in to break it up, this is where it got crazy. Now, essentially what we see is Kim is sitting in her Range Rover in the parking lot, in the driveway. By the way, their house is huge. Like, as you walk through with the police, you're like, oh my God, these grounds are insane. Like, I live here in LA. Even like really big Beverly Hills mansions sometimes don't even have that big grounds because of the, like just like spatial issues. It's huge over there. So The police officer comes in and he sees Kroy standing at Kim's window at her car, and he pulls him over, and Kroy is literally scary, like actually scary. He is yelling at the top of his lungs. He is not able to calm down. He's yelling at the police officer, and he's basically saying, we're talking about the police. I'm not going to yell for you guys, but the police officer is essentially saying, like, well, what's going on? What are you talking about? He's like, we're talking about our life, how our life is destroyed. We have nothing. Our home, our money, our family. We're getting a divorce one day. We're not getting a divorce another day. She's effing so many other men. It's destroyed. Our life is destroyed. It's always her fault. She's a narcissist. I mean, he was losing his mind. Then the police officer, Kroy goes like, why are you guys even here? Who called you? To the police. And remember, this is like probably the 5th time that the police has come to their house. I don't know the exact number in the last few months. And the police officer says, your kid. And instead of Kroy being like, oh, F, like, what is happening that my kid is calling the police? He's like, which kid? They're not even here. What are you talking about? They are all there. And one of those kids called the police because they probably were petrified seeing their dad lose his shit and yell at mom. Okay. We are not there 24/7. We don't know the reality of what's happening. We don't know who is doing what to who is triggering who's instigating what, who's starting what. Kim is then walked over. The police officer kind of like one police officer goes with Kroy to the house where he's yelling at the police officer saying, you don't have a right to get in here. And the police officer is like, calm down, stop talking. And Kroy just is still yelling at the police officer. And the police officer is like, this is a domestic violence issue and we are lawfully allowed to be here and we need to see your kids. Okay. Kim then, meanwhile, has another police officer going over to her and she's hysterically crying in her car. And she's like, I don't know what to do. He's crazy. He just keeps yelling at me nonstop. He's running after me. He's pulling on my robe. He's scaring the kids. He doesn't let the kids talk to me. The kids come in, the kids go out. Like if I'm inside, the kids have to go outside. If I'm outside, the kids have to go inside. And then she mentions that she just came back from her hair appointment 12 hours ago, which really didn't do her very well in this case, because the fact that your life is falling apart because of your lack of money, because of all these things, and you're still going with your long ass nails, getting your hair appointment done in your Range Rover, like what's going on? If I had that issue where not only do we not have money, but we owe like the IRS and all these things like so much money, I think I would probably cut down on nails and hair immediately. But Kim will be Kim. So this can be seen in 2 very separate ways. A lot of you guys sent me DMs last night saying, oh my God, this was so sad to see. I don't like, one DM I got said, I don't like saying this out loud, but it does feel like literally she is driving him crazy. Like she is making him crazy, which is what it looks like, because we have watched Don't Be Tardy and Real Housewives for so many years to see a very different kind of Kroy. We've never seen that side of Kroy, right? We've never seen the side of Kroy that is angry. And if he is angry, it's usually kind of very passive anger. We've always seen like a very, very loving, doting husband. We've seen a great dad. And all of a sudden we're seeing a very different Kroy. Now, Kim, on the other hand, from what we've seen on the show, does struggle, I think, a lot from like narcissistic tendencies, over gambling, shopping, spending a lot of money, obsessed with herself, very, very, it's the Kim show. It's the Kim Zolciak show, I think, and then Kroy just happens to be there. Okay. I will say that I did have a conversation with someone that worked on one of their seasons of their show a long time ago. I don't know how many years ago, maybe 5, 6, I don't remember. And they told me a story, and I've talked about it on this show before, that they saw him lose his temper often. He did lose his temper off camera. Apparently, he has what is that, that injury, that head injury that a lot of former football players have, where it kind of F's with your brain a little bit. It's possible. It's possible. Or he's so upset and so hurt. And from what I got from this video is that he doesn't want a divorce. This video makes it sound like he doesn't want a divorce, and she is the one that's like, leave me alone. I just want a divorce. But maybe she's saying that one day and then the next day saying, I don't want a divorce, because she says later in the video, it's just so hard. I don't know what to do because he's not the guy I married. And so I'm guessing the reason why we're seeing so much divorce, not divorce, together, not together, this and that, is because he's almost like struggling a little bit with multiple. I don't want to call him, this is not like a treatment, but like a little bit of personality shifts, maybe. Like maybe one day he's really loving and he's like, let's work on this. And then the next day she does something that pisses him off and he can't come back from it. He said she's sleeping with other men. It's a CTE. Thank you so much. I think the craziest and the scariest and the saddest thing here are these kids. What do you think these kids are going through, knowing and seeing their dad yell? And we don't know. Maybe mom's yelling too. We don't know, at their mom. That police are coming to their house multiple times. That they're hearing, because Kim and Kroy are not like, let's not fight around the kids. Right? That Kim and Kroy don't go into a quiet space to have like conversations. They're just like, they put it all out on the table. They don't give a crap. So I'm sure those kids have been subjected to so much yelling, so many bad words, so much name calling, so much fear-based, like we don't have a home. We have no money we don't have money for our kids. Like, I'm telling you, I was lucky enough to not have to see anything that would be considered domestic violence in my own home. But my mom and my stepdad, who are still together, are both very feisty, fiery personalities. And so they would get into large, like, not anymore. It's so funny. Like, as they got older, they were just like, we're cool with each other. But when I was younger, I was 6 years old when they got together and we lived in a very small house, they would yell and fight with each other over nothing. And we go from 0 to 100 so many times. I remember sitting in my room with my sister or alone, like under my covers, like hysterically crying because I was so scared. I wasn't scared he was going to hurt her. I wasn't scared she was going to hurt him. I wasn't scared about physical safety at all. I was just scared hearing that our lives could fall apart. Right? Like, just knowing, and it wasn't like I felt like I needed to protect anyone. It was just scary knowing that it's possible that we may have to move, that maybe mom and stepdad are going to have to divorce and like we're going to lose half of our family. Are we going to have money? And that was like just normal fighting. It wasn't like calling each other these awful names. It was just like, I don't want to do this anymore type of conversations. This is on another level. So what do we do now? What happens with the kids? Like, does Brielle, who's 21 years old, step in and like take care of them? Is she able to? Because Kim's family is MIA. He has no relationship with mom and dad. Kroy's family, MIA. He lost his relationship with his family from what we know. One of you guys, I remember, told me that you're a neighbor of Kim and Kroy. If this is you and you're listening to this and you're a neighbor of Kim and Kroy in that neighborhood, please DM me. We've got to talk. I need to find out what is going on here. This is just devastating for those kids. Like, honestly, Bethany should put her reality reckoning energy towards Kim and Kroy and like help those kids. Like, bring Kim and Kroy's kids to your Connecticut compound for the week and like make them Davoon French toast. Like, this is the sad thing. Not kids that are on reality TV, like getting to be filmed, going to, Hawaii. This is the problem. It's They need to be physically separated. There needs to be like a court mandated, get those two in separate places and no one can be talking to each other. They should be using the family wizard, like those texts where you can only go through like a third party to converse. They should be blocking each other's numbers. It's so bad. It's so bad. I feel really bad for those kids and I really hope they're going to be okay. Oh, when I just said the family wizard reminds me, Ray, my moderator on my Facebook group, Daily Doser, she's over here in the live comments. She told me that this morning on Jeff Lewis Live, he had Taylor Armstrong on as a guest, and they were talking all about the Shannon and John Jansen thing. So I will cover all of that later on Patreon because I do have some OC information from this new season that they're about to, if not already filming. Guys, it's good. Okay, let's move on and talk about last night's TV, huh? Let's first start about with Miami because while I love Miami so much, and I really do love Miami so much, nothing's like really happening. Don't you guys agree? It's just like we're watching more of the same. We're watching vacation. We're watching drinking. We're watching lots of communication and conversations in Sprinter vans. We're watching lots of games. Now, I'm noticing this. There's a lot of games going on in the Real Housewives universe. Are we not allowed to just watch people talk? Do the producers, was this like a Bravo conversation? Like, hey, we've got to incorporate one game per episode on every Real Housewives of Miami or Real Housewives franchise. Like if we have 6 women sitting around a table, games must be had. Like, I'm so sick of it. Then, they have this game where they're taking a shot and there's dildos and it's like, what? Whatever. That was that scene. You guys know now that I watch half these shows in the shower. That was the scene I was in the shower for, so I was like kind of paying attention. We did see that Nicole and who's my favorite? Nicole and Marisol Cookies, the inventor of the cocky. They have a long conversation all about their previous drama, and they're like, we've got to start getting along. Okay, cool. So we have a new little friendship in the works. Then we go out to dinner, and at dinner, we start noticing. So basically, a recap, Lisa Hawks, and I just found out it was Hochstein. I think she said that when she went to the restaurant. She's like, I have a table for Lisa Hochstein. I've been calling her Lisa Hochstein. So Lisa Hochstein has a table and at this restaurant, and they're all going to this restaurant because the reason why they're actually in Palm Beach is because Lisa has this deal with this RHOM brand. We've all seen the ads, right? We've all seen the Kyle and Mauricio ads where they're like in their house and they're like, we want it to smell like a hotel. Well, now Lisa has a deal with them and she's happy to do that. So they go to this dinner. Now, can you imagine being the hostess at a restaurant, which is fairly nice? I don't know specifically this restaurant, but it's a nice restaurant. They're shooting a show. All the housewives are there. Larsa Pippen walks in and she looks at the hostess and she goes, is this a sports bar? I thought Palm Beach was supposed to be bougie. What? So they go to this dinner, they sit down, and then immediately they're starting to talk about Lenny. Now, was it just me or was Lisa a little bit tipsy in the scene? Because not only did she trip when she walked into the restaurant, but then sitting at the table, she, started talking about Lenny again. And this was the best scene ever is Kiki's like, oh, I cannot do this Lenny conversation again. I feel like I'm going crazy. I cannot Lenny this, Lenny that. It's the Lenny show. And then Gertie's like, I'm going to pluck out an eyelash every time we talk about Lenny. It's so painful. Lisa is obsessed with talking about Lenny. Now we have to remember, I guess she's still going through a very nasty divorce. It's obsessive. What would you guys do? Would you guys talk about it nonstop too if that was you? It does feel obsessive. It does feel nonstop. I don't really know specifically what to do about it, but I get it. I get it. She's devastated. I don't think she's into Jody though. I don't, because I think that if you are into your new boyfriend, you're not obsessing over the ex. I think she's still in love with Lenny. I know. in this, like when they're shooting this. I don't know about right now, but at this time, she's so obsessed. They end up, talking about Lenny. Lisa starts hysterically crying. Oh, I missed this. Someone brought this up, how everything's getting very sexual. What is up with this? Now, this week on Salt Lake City, we had a whole conversation about when was the last time you had sex. Then on, was it Potomac? We had a whole conversation about swallowing, etc., and, balls. Okay. Then in this episode, in the Sprinter van, they're talking about licking certain parts of your body and fetishes. It's a little much. No, maybe it's because it's all three shows in 1 week doing the same conversation. And I'm not a prude. I talk about all this stuff, but I just struggle when I see these like women that are on TV talking about all of it. It's a little strange. I find it a little strange. It's like, is that all we talk about now? Is just like, how much do we have sex and then fight? I don't know. Interesting. Now, I'm not saying I don't talk about those things with my girlfriends. Surely I do. But I also don't have a camera crew filming me for like all of the future of life that my kids will grow up and maybe watch. I wouldn't really want Dylan and Oliver to know anything about what I'm doing with their dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're going to grow up and figure it out for themselves. I don't really need them to know about it because I'm telling the world. Okay. Lisa's hysterical at this dinner. Marisol, of all people, is like, let's stop talking about this. Let's go to bed. I didn't know Marisol has the ability in herself to stop anything, but she does. And she decides to go to bed. And everyone decides to go to bed. The next morning, they wake up because Lisa has this big work experience. She puts on her avatar blue mask. Nothing really happens. Honestly, is anything really happening in this episode? That's what I'm saying. It's a lot of nothing. It's fun to watch, but it isn't that exciting. Feels a little boring. Oh, speaking of the fetish part, did you guys find this part funny? Alexia is like, I don't like feet. I don't like my feet. I don't like their feet. I don't like anyone's feet. I don't want to know feet. The girl owns like a pedicure shop. Alexia and Frankie's is a manicure pedicure shop. Like it's literally a place where you go and like remove your shoes from your feet to get them worked on. I think she's in the wrong business. If you hate feet so much, you may want to do something else. Just saying. Just saying. Like go work in a hair salon. Go work in a hair salon. Okay. So, once again, nothing really insane happens and we move on. But what we do need to talk about is Beverly Hills, because what episode of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills has not been giving this season? Starting in Vegas when they went to Magic Mike. I mean, this season is must-watch TV. The episode starts off with this kind of music that makes us wonder, like, what's going on? And it was a continuation of last week's weed dinner party. But what's happening is instead of being back at the dinner, we're now in Mauricio's office. Mauricio's office is bringing back lots of PTSD for me because this is the office where like Kyle shows her feelings, right? Her true feelings. We're in Mauricio's office. We're sitting there and Kyle's having this uncomfortable conversation with Mauricio. All of their conversations do not seem husband and wife. They seem very like apart. Mauricio's like, "How was your dinner?" Didn't care about it, but he asked. She told him that Sutton was bringing up all these things. Now, I will say this. Sutton has been talking a lot about, I think you're in denial of something. What's going on with that ring? Sutton, in my opinion, is definitely getting the story moving. She's calling out what everyone wants to say, which is what the hell is happening. In every single publication out there, on every newspaper and everything, we are seeing that there is drama between you and your husband. We are seeing you hang out with this Morgan Wade. We are seeing you get tattoos. We're seeing you go from long nails to short nails, changing your ring, not drinking, working out all the time. Like all these things are changing. It's not crazy that people would be curious what's going on, but Sutton just isn't saying it. And because of that, it's making everyone beat around the bush. Why are you implying something without saying it? What is it? Say it, say it. Sutton's like, name them, right? She doesn't say it. So We end up sitting there and, Kyle is talking to Mauricio about the dinner. Mauricio saying, well, that's effed up. It's just creating more rumors. It's just starting more shit. Kyle gets up. She says goodbye to him. He holds her. Never seen anything like this, right? He holds her face and gives her a big smoocheroo. And then she walks away so uncomfortable. And he's like, what's going on? And she goes, why are you kissing me like that? And he's like, I can kiss you however I want. Something's happening here. She's definitely pulling away and he's not like getting the memo. Like Mauricio needs to start reading the room a little bit more. I understand that he's dancing with the stars, but he should take a class in reading the room. Speaking of, last night, my friend, shout out Patrice, was at a restaurant right by my house and spotted nothing but absolutely Mauricio with Babe PK. Mauricio and PK were having dinner together down the street. Those two are chummy. Those two are chummy. What do you think they talked about? So on buying Beverly Hills, and so on selling homes in London. It's so good. So anyway, they. So Mauricio needs to read the room. We then go on to meet. I can't remember specifically what happens next, but oh yeah, Sutton. Sutton kind of sets the scene because we're in her shop. We're in the Sutton store that smells like sewage, she says, which is just like, don't do that on camera. Like whenever you talk about a bad smell somewhere, or if you say someone smells, or if you say someone has bad breath one time, that's all I think when I see them. This is not a joke. I've said this before on this show. Bill and Juliana from E. Remember Juliana and Bill Rancic? They had a show on E, a reality show about their lives being together and like, moving to Chicago and having a child and starting businesses, etc. One episode, this is like 10 years ago, more. One episode, Bill says to Juliana, your breath stinks. It's all I think about. I can't see Juliana without thinking about her breath. I can't. Someone said that about Lisa Vanderpump once. You think I didn't think about it when I saw her over at Dancing with the Stars? I was like, that's all I'm thinking is Chardonnay breath. Jax has breath like Cheetos and Corona or whatever they said. Or no, Tom Sandoval. Was it Tom Sandoval that they said cigarettes and beer or whatever? Gross. Okay. So Sutton says that her store smells like sewage, but they're setting up for this big party. They're having a 4-year anniversary party. I don't know personally if Sutton is making money off the store. I think she's probably spending more than making because according to Jeff Lewis, he said that her store is never open. But, I want to know. I should do some digging. Maybe I should drive on over to Beverly Hills and check out Sutton. So she's talking about the fact that she's about to have this party. She's planning for it. And then she gets on the phone with Crystal, who's basically making fun of her about the drinking. Like, it's clearly a joke now with Sutton and her friends being like, I'm a drinker. Obviously, I'm a drinker. Everyone's talking about it. We then go and we meet Annemarie. We get to know Annemarie, I should say. Now, Annemarie is the new housewife that got thrown upon us in last week's weed dinner party. She basically got thrown upon us as Kyle's minion. She was Kyle's mouthpiece. She did not care enough to become likable. She just wanted to come in and do a lot of Kyle's dirty work. I hate to say it, but that's what I thought. She immediately was against anyone that was against Kyle. She was against Sutton. And then we saw Kyle go over to her house like to play tennis or eat fruit or whatever. And Kyle's like kind of feeding her all of the information, right? Annemarie, we're now in her house, which I've been to houses like this. They're all the same. Here in Los Angeles, they're all these Encino new builds. They all look exactly the same. And she's running her house with her husband, who we've heard some shady things about. I'm not getting into that, but her husband and her 3 kids. And she's talking about how she's a mom first, even though she's an anesthesiologist. She's mom first, and she does everything for her kids, and she's giving them breakfast, and she's, doing the morning routine. We've all done it. We've all been there. And then she, Marcellus, her husband, walks downstairs, and they give each other a nice little kiss and hug, and he's making some jokes. And then she goes on to say something in a confessional, which blows my mind. She says that when I met Marcellus, women were a flocking. They all wanted him. They all wanted to be with Marcellus, but he fell in love with me because he said, I'm a solid 8.5. I'm sorry, what? Now, I don't know necessarily what my husband would rank me on a scale. We should ask him in terms of all these things. Would he call me a 10 just to be nice? Would he call me a 6 if he wanted to be honest? Or what would he do? But I'll tell you one thing. If Lance told me one night, here's why I'm going to pick you, babe. You're a solid 8.5. You're an 8.5 in the kitchen. You're an 8.5 in the bedroom. You're an 8.5 with the way you look. You're an 8.5 with the way you parent. You're an 8.5 the way you live your life. And that's why I choose you. You're not a 10 in anything, but you're also not a 5. I'd be like, what? F you. At least give me a 10 in the kitchen. At least give me a 10 in my career. At least give me a 10 with a mom. Like, you're not a 10 and you're not perfect at anything. No, perfect is bullshit. I don't think any of us are perfect, but I would be a little offended if my husband straight up said to me on Daily Dose of Donna, your career and how much you work hard, you're an 8.5. I would be like, what more can I do? I'm here 5 days a week. Give me some tips to get me to 10. I would be very, very offended by the 8.5. And by the way, I don't believe anyone really is like a 10 in terms of looks. But I would want my husband to lie. I really would. I would want him to lie and say, babe, Donna, you're a 10 in my eyes. I think that's like causing some major problems down the line, the 8.5 comment. I'm just going to let's just call her 8.5. Let's not call her Annemarie. Let's call her Nurse 8.5. 8.5. That's her new name. So we see a whole morning routine. I'm not a fan. It's just unlikable to me. And that's mostly because of what we see a little bit later in the episode. We see Kyle getting ready for her night out at Sutton's party. She is in a robe and she's having a very, very cutesy, flirty, this is her relationship with Morgan Wade. It's very flirty. It's very cute. It's very giving each other poking, having fun with each other. They're in love. Okay, so she's having a FaceTime conversation with Morgan Wade because that's what you do, right? You have FaceTime conversations with your best friends before you go out to dinner to talk about like what you're wearing and stuff. It does make so much sense. Yeah. So she's having conversations with Morgan and it's very cute. Like I'm happy for them, but just like tell us already. Like I'm so sick of this. I feel like just tell us. So she and Morgan chat about like the night and what's going to happen. And she's making jokes like, oh, I'm wearing a different ring tonight. So like, I wonder if they're going to think that I have a family in somewhere else. And ha 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 ha. She also says, I'm bringing Kim tonight. Now, this is interesting. We have not really seen Kim on Real Housewives for years, minus a random appearance. But she's now shown up 2 episodes in a row. Happens to be when Kyle doesn't have anyone really that has her back other than maybe Dorit. And now Annemarie. She needs to call in her troops. She needs her peeps, right? And so she has Kim join her to Sutton's party because it's very important for her to show Sutton, you said I lost my sisters. No, I didn't. Let's all be honest. Like, I don't think Kyle would ever pick Kim out of everyone that she knows to be her +1 for a party. Like, Kim to me is not necessarily your party +1, right? Because she's just the queen of awkward. I love Kim, but she's so awkward in social situations. So we go to, I'm trying to think of like anything. Oh, we have a cute little dinner with Garcelle and Garcelle's son and his girlfriend. And I was shocked. I had to say, I was a little shocked by Ashlyn, the girlfriend, ordering that truffle filet mignon. Feels expensive. I understand Garcelle bought one for herself, but this is her money. That was a little much. Like maybe just get like a ribeye. Okay. So Garcelle's son, I mean, that's Garcelle's storyline this season. It's very clear. Garcelle's storyline is all about being a mother, which is really interesting. Because I feel like she's a great mom from what I've seen. But that's her storyline. So she's with her son. and his girlfriend. Okay, cute. I don't think we got anything of Dorit outside of the group party. I don't remember getting a lot of Dorit. Crystal, I don't remember getting anything. It's probably a bad sign that they're forgettable. Oh yeah, we get a whole shtick of Erica telling her mom that I got this residency in Vegas. Mom, I've got to tell you something. I got a residency in Vegas. We're gonna go. Get your casino hats on. Good for her. Good for her. That ain't easy. It's not easy to get a residency in Vegas. I don't care what you say. I think that's amazing that Erica did it. Will I watch the spin-off documentary that they're going to do or a few episodes about it? Probably not. Just going to be honest, probably not. But it does make sense now to know that they did the documentary. Don't you think it kind of makes sense that Dorit and Kyle, and I don't even remember who else, maybe Lisa and like someone else all came to the first show? Because they were being filmed. It's all work. Like, we didn't know that they were being filmed. They were filming a documentary for the spinoff of Erica, but now we do. And it's interesting that the housewives happened to come to the opening. Okay. So we're at Sutton's party. I think that's kind of like the most important part here. We're at Sutton's party. Everyone looks great. We have some good little sightings. We see Megan King Edmonds from Real Housewives of OC. We see Megan Weaver from Jeff Lewis Live and Joey Zauzig. That was kind of fun. And of course, Avi, the assistant, which I just love him. I love him. I just think he adds a fun light to the show. Sutton saying hi to everyone. She makes a speech that is so incredibly uncomfortable. And she knows it. Horrible speaker, right? I don't like women that put labels on each other. Oh my God, all of a sudden I'm British. I don't think labels are necessary. But I like labels, and here are so many. So purchase something at Sutton. I can't do her accent. I can't. I have to work on it. Name them. That's all I can do. If she just says name them, then I'm good, but I can't do anything else, right? So everyone's like uncomfortable. I loved it when Dorit goes, I'm uncomfortable to Erica, or she says like, what's happening? And Erica's like, just keep smiling. Erica walked into the party with the best line ever. She goes, my hands are chilly, but my heart is warm. Is it though? Erica like got a big speaking to by her agent at the beginning of the season. Like, everything you do must be comes off nice. Okay. You may not be unlikable this season. So the party starts, the party's continuing. We're at the bar and Sutton's going to get her first drink of the night. We've heard this like 8 times. It's my first drink of the night. I'm getting my first drink of the night. It's my first drink of the night. And Kim and Kyle are standing there and they start talking to Sutton, and Sutton goes, I'm just getting my first drink of the night. Just wanted to make sure that's okay. Getting permission from mom. And Kim, of course, oblivious to what's going on, is like, did she say that because I'm a nana? And Kyle goes, no, she said that because of the other night. So Kyle mentions to Sutton, hey, I didn't say you had a problem. I just said I wasn't sure if you had drank 1 or 5 drinks, which I think was important to say. Although I do think Kyle was stating that Sutton did have a problem. We know this because of the Teddy Mellencamp comment at Watch What Happens Live. It's very clearly a storyline. Sutton goes, thank you. I'm sorry for saying you were in denial. Like, they had a little bit of a back and forth that I thought was really nice. But then Dorit shows up and finds out from Sutton that Crystal has been telling people that Dorit is also insinuating that Sutton has a drinking problem because she pours vodka in her coffee, etc. Now, this ended up being such a funny little montage because the Real Housewives editors are just phenomenal. And what happens is now we know that Dorit is pissed at Crystal. So Dorit says something along the lines of, Crystal never says anything. She never pipes in. She's a mute. like Dorit is like, Crystal who? But now she wants to say this in her confessional. That was a little funny. So she says that she is going to go and talk to Crystal. And Crystal, the editing was so good. She goes, I've heard about it. I've expected it. It's never been me, but I am finally the recipient of a Dorit interrogation. Because Dorit's like, I said it. When did I say this about Kyle to Sutton? In Sutton, that Kyle's in the kitchen, in the PK, in the babe, Jagger. Like, it was the craziest roundabout way to basically have this conversation. Crystal goes, I'm bored. So were we. So Sutton sits down because this is the time when the housewives producers are like, gather as a group. We need a group setting. We need everyone to talk. So everyone just get in a circle. And this is the moment where I decided Annemarie is not for me. 8.5 should be deduced to a 6 as a party guest, maybe a 4, because she decides to go all in on Sutton's esophagus. Now, I did some research on the esophagus after last week's episode, and the tightening of an esophagus and a narrowing of an esophagus is real. It is actually a thing. Many people have it. Many of you have it. Many of you have it. I saw it in the DMs. I saw it in the comments. There are a lot of things that go wrong with our bodies. If she has a narrowing of the esophagus, it's possible that she doesn't like to eat in public on camera because she struggles swallowing food. I'm not saying it's true or not. I'm just saying if that is true, that would make sense to me. That being said, Annemarie decides to go all in on Sutton about the kind of medicine that she takes, gabapentin or something along those lines. I don't know. You should not be drinking on it. Sutton goes, my doctor says I can. Annemarie goes, you can't. Sutton goes, well, my doctor says I can. Annemarie goes, well, you can, but those things don't go together. Okay, I want you guys to be honest right now. Are you on any sort of a medication, whether it's anti-anxiety, antidepressant, I don't know, antibiotics, headache medicine, anti-inflammatories, and have drank in the same day? My guess is yes. If you don't do it often or regular, that's fine too, but you have, right? Annemarie, shut up. Shut up, because you're also shaming her and making her feel awful in a group setting in her store at her party. Shut up. Shut up. What movie is that from? Shut up. No, it's Sex in the City. Shut up. I think it was a Aiden Carey scene. So we've all done it. Are we proud of it? Maybe not. But Erica, thank God for Erica, who's straight up like, I've drank on pills. Garcelle goes, we know. We saw it. That was kind of fun. 8.5 needs to shut her trap. She's now down to a 3. 8.5 is going down. She decides to say, I don't know what you have. This esophagus, this. Shut up. Ugh. Just awful. Now, I saw something a little bit later, which is they do these weird after shows for Bravo. It's not an after show, but I guess it is kind of. And I saw a very small clip right before I started the show where Crystal and Dorit are getting interviewed. And Crystal said, when we were in Aspen, we were in a van separate from your guys' van, and production gave us sandwiches. And Sutton was struggling so hard to swallow that she had to keep spitting up her food. It was really hard. She was really, really struggling. And of course, this wasn't on camera. I believe it. I believe that Sutton has an issue with swallowing. Maybe it's physical. She said her brother gets his esophagus stretched. I want to die. Now, what is gabapentin? Some of you guys are saying, she's right. You cannot drink on certain things. Let's see. How many people do you think searched? Oh my God, the first search came up. I just wrote Gab, G-A-B, and it says gabapentin and alcohol. The world searched gabapentin and alcohol last night. It says, can I drink alcohol while taking gabapentin? Yes, you can drink alcohol with gabapentin, but it may make you feel sleepy or tired. Guys, I hate to say it, but it does say you can. You probably shouldn't. Oh, it's nerve pains for neuropathy. That's right. You probably shouldn't, but if she takes it when she goes to bed, which she said, she's going to sleep. It seems just a lot, right? So anyway, another person with massive anxiety, of course, is Dorit, who was Sutton told me there was going to be 85 people on the guest list. I'm feeling comfortable. Now we're going to have to know, Dorit is going to need to know a head count of every single event she ever enters on the season of Real Housewives. And that's pretty much how the episode ends. It's it's so good. I want to watch more of it, but I'm just telling you this. Oh, I missed a huge part of this, which explains so much, which was Kyle's conversation with her coach, her life coach, or whatever she calls him. I knew about this because we've seen it in the press. We saw it on her social media, but she has not talked about it on the show. And I'm curious why it hasn't been brought up yet at all. But in May of 2022, I'm pretty sure it was May of 2022, Kyle's best friend, Lorraine, who's been on the show briefly, I don't remember her, but she's been since they were 7 years old, so second grade, took her own life. Kyle is not opening up about like how or what specifically, but she said it was devastatingly frustrating for her because all she knew was that she had her life together. They had kids together, family events. She told her everything. She said she was in her will in terms of like who was going to take care of her kids. Like she was her go-to. She was her sister. I felt so bad for Kyle in that moment. You guys, I cried. Just devastating. And I wish we have talked about this earlier because when she went on this retreat in the first episode and said things have been really tough for me this year because of everything with my sister, she met Kathy and then Mauricio. I don't know if this is like an intentional, why are we cutting this out that she's not talking about her friend, but like I feel like if it was an open conversation about her friend being a catalyst for a lot of these life changes, I honestly do believe we would have, we as a audience and also Sutton and Garcella and everyone else would have just like a lot more sympathy towards her. We would just understand so much more. When you lose someone in that way, that's like just the worst thing, right? Anyway, I felt awful for her. And I guess we're going to see this organization that she does, she does some sort of charity fundraiser, I think, for this purpose, which is why Morgan Wade is performing for her in a few episodes. But I feel for Kyle. I do. I do feel for Kyle. I also want Annemarie 8.5 to shut up. I've just decided. I just can't with her attitude. Coming in hot, coming in strong, and coming in a little bit too entitled for me. 8.5. All right, you guys, I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe to Patreon, and I'll be back tomorrow with an Ultimate Girls Trip recap. I guess there's a few episodes out, so I'll see how many I can watch. We're also going to talk about a bunch of other things. Southern Charm is on tonight. We're going to see how many more men Taylor slept with, how many more drinks Shep drank, how many more people Shep offended. You guys, I will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you so much for being here. Love you guys. Bye.